on the stream. Our first game of the day. We have BacT versus Slam here, and I'm with T90. Hello, T90.
What's going on? I'm very excited for this game today. We have BacT and Slam, and it looks like Vietnamese is the pick for BacT, and Slam is Huns. Two interesting civs. We have one of the AOC powerhouse civilizations for Slam, and then one of the newer civilizations, which has performed very well for BacT. So I'll just introduce the players real quickly, Zach. In the red, we have BacT, again, playing as the Vietnamese, and then Slam is in the blue on the left side of the map, playing as the Huns. A very interesting map. You can see that players do have a large gold pile if they need it. They do have many wood lines, but they're not large wood lines. But looking at backspace now, you will see he has a gold above his TC. That's his main gold. So you might want to think about building his buildings in front of that later on to protect it. And to the left of his TC, he does have a secondary gold and a stone. And those are the talking points for BacT's map. I'll touch on Slam now as well. Again, smaller wood lines. They both have 4, actually. And his main gold is to the left of his TC in the back, which might be a little bit better. However, it is touching that wood line, which won't be great for efficiency. But yeah, I'm excited to see these civs, Zach.
Yeah, so we've got C notes here. That's the name of the map for those wondering. It is typically quite open, and it's not always the easiest map to wall. I'm interested to see, though, that Slam has managed to get his hands on the Huns here, because BacT clearly didn't ban the Huns out for Slam. He had a choice of 4 civs to ban out before this game started. Huns was not one of them, which means that Slam is able to pick up a civilization that he's going to be very comfortable with. The Huns, of course, probably the most played civilization in AOC, and this is what these guys are most well versed with. So AOC Huns for Slam, and he's going to be feeling pretty happy with that. But then again, you know, with the map being so open, I guess the Huns may have a harder time walling, but still, they're going to be getting that wood saved over the course of the game from not needing to build any houses, and they're generally going to be off to a pretty quick start as a result. BacT, though, taking the Vietnamese, and maybe tempted by his home nation here to pick up the Vietnamese. But yeah, looking at BacT's map, his gold is very forward, and this is going to be potentially quite hard to defend if Slam gets aggressive and comes for an early attack. Also, if you look at his other gold piles, they are very far away from his town center. So the center of the map, it's literally covered in gold here, with both players having quite a lot of forward gold for the second and third gold spots. But the main gold for BacT is a little bit awkward, and the second gold down in the southwest is also a little exposed and hard to wall in, especially since this lake is here with these shallows as well. So he has to keep that in mind when he is walling up, as the shallows can provide a way through the wall if he's not careful. So, I mean, I'm thinking BacT might consider doing something aggressive. He has got a back stone. I think maybe he could consider coming forward with towers. Sometimes the best defense is a strong offense. I don't know what you think about that.
Well, I think that's just BacT's style, to be honest. Slam, so based off what I know, Slam plays a lot of Huns Wars, as you said, Zach, and he's a macro player. So he won't take... I won't see him go forward very often. I won't see him make as many risks as BacT might take. BacT likes to go forward with units such as man-at-arms, towers, very messy, but aggressive enough to starve your opponent of resources and win the game. So I think that the Vietnamese is a good pick for BacT. Now, you look at Slam, and I think it's a good pick for him, and oh, geez, that boar has gone back for him.
Oh, yeah. I just noticed that as well. I don't know why it went back, though, actually. It didn't look like it should have gone back, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think it should have gone back, but it did.
Maybe he only hit it once? I don't know, because he was blocking it with his scout. I don't know if he actually got both hits in there.
I did see him get 2 hits, but sometimes the boar will just try and run back to where it was. And maybe that happened. I don't know. But anyway, I do think Slam is going to be happy with his civilization. Another thing I wanted to point out about these 2 players' bases is, so BacT has, each player has a main gold and then 2 extra golds. BacT does have one to the left of his town center where Slam is currently. And, you know, worst case scenario, he can go there instead of forward. Now, you look at Slam, he has that main gold, but then his other golds that are close by are in the middle, and that is not going to be easy to hold down later in this game. So if we hit mid castle age, late castle age, I'm guessing that both players will be very aggressive in the middle area.
Yeah, absolutely. This map is definitely favoring aggressive style play, and the player who can hold down the most map control is going to have the better time in the mid game. Especially as you say, the gold in this map for Slam is certainly all on the front. He does have one to the very north of his base, but that's going to be really hard to defend, really. And he's also not scouted it at this stage, so he may not go up there for some time, and we'll have to wait and see. And if he loses his scout, that's going to be a big problem, which he nearly did lose his scout, actually, to BacT's TC, getting in quite close. BacT here, kind of expected, I guess. 3 villagers coming forward, militia being queued up as he goes up to the feudal age here, and we're probably going to see that really aggressive playstyle that we spoke about. Slam losing a bit of health on his scout as well, not ideal for this kind of situation, and doesn't want to risk losing that. Of course, now his scout's going to be here to keep an eye on what's going on with BacT's villagers and not being used to scout the map. BacT coming in with his own scout will get quite a bit of extra damage onto Slam. He's going to run back to the TC, but BacT has the scouting info to know where that TC is and keep his scout well out of range of those arrows.
Yeah, this is really good for BacT at the moment. This is exactly what he would want. A map that's open, a map where he can pressure Slam, because he knows if Slam has the time to build up his economy, it's not going to be good for him. So we have the walls coming up from Slam. You can see that immediately funneling everything in towards his town center. And also some walls in the back there, where we talked about the shallows going to that other gold. So he is playing this safe, but my guess is we are going to see a tower from BacT. The Man-at-Arms upgrade not yet coming in because he doesn't have the gold, but he might not even do that at this point. We'll see.
Yeah, I think maybe even it's the food that could be the issue here, since he's not got any farms up right now. He's only got 4 villagers on berries, 3 on the deer, and although they gather very quickly, it's going to be a long while before that food makes it home. So BacT's going to go straight into an archery range here, and dropping that on the front as well. High risk, high reward kind of play style, because if he does lose this forward, he will be in a pretty bad position if this archery range gets walled up, for example. But BacT is not planning on losing this forward, of course. He's planning on going essentially all in on this push by the looks of things as he starts building this forward tower. It is a nice position. It will cover the farms of Slam, but Slam has a tower coming up in defense for now, and he will get it up first as well. Slam also adding in some scouts, and I like that BacT's immediate reaction when he saw the stable was to queue a couple of spearmen of his own, and that means that he's going to be able to counter those scouts quite nicely. He's actually doing man-at-arms right now. I'm surprised to see that, to be honest.
Yeah, you're right. The Man-at-Arms cannot attack any villagers right now, so that seems like a waste of resources. But definitely what BacT is trying to do is cause Slam to stay in his base. When you go forward like this, you pressure your opponent enough where they think they need to defend, but Slam knows if I fight with my scouts now, especially that there's Man-at-Arms and spears, I'm not going to be able to do anything at home. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and I'm going to counterattack. Meanwhile, BacT is starting some walls, but that will not be completed in time. He is going to have to deal with this. So we might see him fight with villagers, or we might see him send this spear that he has next to the berries back over to protect this wood line and this villager who's walling. A good moment for Slam here if he can get a villager.
Oh yeah, and he will get a villager as well at about just past 13 minutes there. Slam now going to move down towards the wood line as BacT quickly walls it in. Good reaction from him to get that walled up. For now, going to keep those villagers safe, but will Slam come south and see that villager there walling? He will, but then he will, of course, immediately run into that spearman and have to back away. But so far for Slam, 1 villager down. What has BacT managed to achieve so far? Well, I don't think he's actually killed a single villager yet. So I would say that Slam, even though he's feeling the heat at home, he's certainly got the most out of his army so far.
Yeah, I think Slam is sitting pretty right now. Like I said earlier, he just wants to build up his economy so he can send out a decisive push, and that did not do much for BacT. That tower on the front got battered down, so it's no longer disrupting his farms. Slam did have stone in the perfect position right behind his berries, and it's walled in, so he's just building defensive towers. And oh, he has his scouts on this stone from BacT as well.
Yeah, that was a really nice find, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what BacT is going to do here now. I mean, Slam is building defensive towers, and that's going to push everything away. It looks like he's expecting another tower from BacT, so he wants to save his stone or something, but Slam seems in a much better position right now, and he's done a great job at dealing with this pressure.
Yeah, the defensive towers from Slam are actually really well placed as well. You just see BacT trying to build another tower on the left side, and then he realizes that, oh, Slam's already building one there, and he just deletes it and goes back. So it's really fortunate for Slam that he has got the stone in the back of his base here, and BacT wasn't able to zone that out. He has zoned out the gold on the left side, but that doesn't really matter right now for Slam since he's going quite heavy into the scouts anyway, actually up to 6 scouts at the moment. So this is going to be quite a formidable force for BacT to deal with, especially since he only has 1 spearman in this forward army. I almost feel like Slam could actually engage this if he adds a couple more skirmishes into the fight as well. BacT, though, quite heavy into archers right now, and he doesn't want to release these from the range just yet, because if he does get caught out, these scouts from Slam will punish that quite heavily. So he's just waiting, biding his time for now, and look at that, Slam coming forward with a watchtower in the middle of the map, and I wonder if this is to secure the gold, or if he just wants the map control right now.
I don't know, that's kind of interesting. Keep in mind he hasn't collected his own gold, so maybe he's going to continue to push forward in that area and toss down a mining camp like BacT has done on his stone. But you're definitely right about Slam's position with the skirmishers now. He's going to be in a much better spot. And in my opinion, he does have the best economy in the game. He has more farms, and BacT is still worrying about walling up his base, and that's no easy task. So there's that mining camp from Slam. BacT now has this forward range, and if he needs to defend, his units are going to have to run all the way back and actually pass that tower from Slam. And if you go forward and don't do anything, that's an awful position for you, because you will have no defense, and the scouts and skirms going around to the left-hand side now.
Yeah, gonna go to town on that wall right there, and BacT now building a stable here behind the wall. Realizing that actually maybe some scouts in this position would be a great shout, especially since he's spotted the skirms from Slam, which are upgraded with fletching right now. So he's going to use his archers to try and counterattack, try and do some damage over at Slam's base. But you're quite right about the reinforced distance. It is going to be a long way for BacT to go back home, and so instead he's just going to try and do what he can with those archers and actually avoid the army for Slam right now, because I feel like if those armies collide, then BacT will certainly come out worse for wear, as those archers will be quite hard countered at the moment.
Yeah, well, interestingly enough, BacT did a good job walling this. I mean, it wasn't pretty, but, you know, he has stone walls, palisade walls, now a gate, and that stable is keeping Slam's army away. He did actually kill a villager of Slam's on that wood line with his archers, and he's trying to go in the right-hand side. Slam does not have any stone for another tower at the moment, so he's going to be panic walling as well and relying on these skirmishers.
Yeah, I think the skirmishers should do enough for now, as those archers will actually immediately start retreating away when those skirmishers come in. Of course, BacT doesn't want to take a fight. He just wants to find some villagers. But I feel like the man-at-arms this game have achieved absolutely nothing so far. They've done really nothing at all. And we now see a tower coming up for Slam on the wood line of BacT here. This is going to help him to disrupt BacT's economy, and also maybe serve as some kind of a platform to break through the walls of BacT here. Maybe the wall that's directly next to the watchtower could go down. So BacT's got to be really careful not to let any holes into his walls here, and he's trying to quick wall up behind it, but he's slowly but surely losing ground, and he's losing access to his stone down here as well, which is not such a big deal right now since he has the stone on the front, but certainly feeling a little constricted as Slam starts to pressure these walls more and more.
Yeah, constricted is a good word. He is, well, not surrounded, I'm sorry, but he has a wall here, and it isn't giving him a lot of space. Slam, if he's winning fights and can hold, then he's going to have more space on the left side to get to that gold and do what he needs to do, but we do see 2 large armies back at Slam's base next to BacT's archery range, and maybe this is where the men-at-arms will come into play, and they'll attack these skirmishers.
Yeah, the men-at-arms here might actually have something to say, but, you know, BacT actually losing quite a lot of archers here so far. They're actually going to get in there right now, but the men-at-arms are surrounded by the scouts. Slam taking great fight after great fight here, and BacT once again knows that he cannot engage. I think in that fight, Slam lost a single skirmisher. I think that was it. Meanwhile, BacT
Yeah.
loses 3 man-at-arms and 4 archers or something, and a scout. So it's looking pretty bad for BacT right now. But the scores do sort of tell a different story, and I'm wondering why that might be. Looking at BacT's economy, he has got a lot of farms up, and I think he might be clicking up to the Castle Age any second now. But, you know, Slam is already up, and that could also explain a small dip in his score as he clicks to the Castle Age.
Yeah, Slam's going to have a good early punch here in the Castle Age, and you're definitely right. I mean, BacT went with the man-at-arms, didn't do much. The archers killed maybe 1 villager, but ultimately I think he wasted too much time back at home. I am very surprised by his uptime, though. Still pretty good time from him, and I expect Slam to go aggressive in this middle area as he's sending another villager. Interesting thing about that, Zach. Normally, if you're Huns, you'd want to transition into cab archers, maybe 2 more ranges even, to have a total of 4 if you're Slam, but he doesn't have the villagers on gold. He only has, 6 now. So I'm guessing that he's not going to produce as much as you normally would in this situation. I might go for an extra TC first.
Yeah, I mean, he could pull off double archery range archer production with these 6, just about. The ideal number is 7, but he's actually got 7 on gold right now, so he might just go double archers into crossbows and actually ignore the cavalry archers for the time being. But he has actually scouted the gold to the north now. He did spot that out with his skirms when he was up there last. And he's got quite a lot of skirms out as well, so he might consider doing the elite skirmisher upgrade. It has been reduced in price with these expansions, so a little bit more affordable. But would you just look at how much food and gold he actually has saved up right now? Slam is pretty much loaded as he gets these techs in. Crossbowmen coming in immediately. Bowsaw at the lumber camp. We also see, well, I was expecting to see Bodkin Arrow. Surprised he's not queued it yet. In fact, why hasn't he queued it yet?
Not sure myself, Zach, but maybe because
Elite Skirmisher,
did he
sorry.
just do it?
No,
Oh,
Elite
Skirmisher. I was going to say, maybe because he's saving resources for something. So he is going for the cheap Elite Skirms, and he probably wants to have the wood as well for this Mangonel because he's building a very scary siege workshop on the front. BacT is not going to be happy about that. I mean, he's almost in the Castle Age. Oh, interesting. He's gone 2 stables, though, so he will go knights. But he has to know this is coming. If you're in BacT's situation, you have to know I have a forward gold. There's a hill right there. I don't have it. We got to go for Siege Workshop and Knights as well, I think. We'll see what he does.
He's going to actually spot the Siege Workshop through the fog here. He actually has vision of that. I think he might have done Town Watch because he's got a really good line of sight outside of his base. And, you know, Town Watch actually just really, really valuable in this position when he's walled up and he's playing so defensive. So actually giving him a little bit of insight into what's going on. He'll spot the army coming around the right-hand side. And a lot of skirms mixed in there. So maybe if BacT is quick, he could engage this army on the right side with the knights and try and take it down. But right now, I think more pressing matters might be that Mangonel in the center of the map as that starts to harass his gold mine. And we said right at the start of this game, this might be a very difficult gold mine to defend. And Slam's going to try and exploit that right now with this forward aggression right back at Slam. Right back at BacT. BacT, though, going to engage this army with his knights. What is his upgrades looking like? He has actually got bloodlines and +2 defense, so this isn't going to turn out too badly. There's a very small number of crossbows mixed in here. BacT might start to be able to level things out a little bit as more knights come in, and I don't think Slam's going to have a very good fight here, or at least not come out on top in terms of like value traded.
Yeah, this is really good for BacT, and this is his moment too. He needs to kill the ranged units. These ranged units are sitting behind his wood lines right now, causing him problems, and great bit of micro from BacT, sending the weak knight away. However, a conversion now from Slam out of that monastery. I think the monk, gonna hop in the tower. Oh, unbelievable. Monk's still alive. And like you said, Zach, very good value for BacT, but because he is behind now, at least in my opinion, still the lack of positioning and the lack of army he has is not good for him. He's actually tossing up a market now, so he can use that.
Yeah, market and also a monastery coming up for BacT as well. Actually, since BacT, since Slam, keep getting the players confused here, since Slam built the monk, got the conversion, and kept his monk alive, I'd say he probably actually got the better value for money in that fight. If the monk hadn't been there, I think it probably would have been more in BacT's, or certainly would have been a lot more in BacT's favor. But since that monk came out and got the clutch conversion, this is going to be really good for Slam now. Slam, I'm just looking around the map at the moment. He doesn't seem to have... Okay, no, I was going to say second and third TC coming up. All right, good stuff. Yeah, I was just kind of wondering where he might build the second and third TC. Maybe he would go for one in the center here with all this gold. He's actually going to put it out on the left side to secure his main gold. Very good position for that. And the third one's coming up next to his wood line. But the mangonels are moving in for Slam. And he's going to go to town on that watchtower, bringing in a villager to repair the mangonel as well. And BacT for now just waiting it out and waiting for the right time to strike with these knights.
Yeah, and I think the time is coming. Whether or not it's going to be a good fight, I'm not sure. There's 3 monks for Slam. He's going to go for conversions here, and the crossbows are still behind with the skirmishers. The knights are going for the monks, but this is not looking good for BacT.
Yeah, 3 conversions, and at that point, it doesn't even matter if your monks die, because they've already paid for themselves by getting those crucial conversions in. And Slam just converting everything right now. Another monk coming out, getting another conversion, and BacT's army is gone. That was a terrible push for him. 4 knights being converted to the other side, and Slam's going to be really happy with that at the moment. BacT really struggling for gold, and in BacT's position, when you're going 2 stable knights on 1 TC, you need access to gold, otherwise it just doesn't work.
Yeah, you need access to a lot of things now because Slam has multiple town centers. BacT is still on 1, and he is just trying to push this back, but he cannot get up this hill. Notice how Slam only had, let's see, maybe 4 or 5 crossbows, these skirmishers, and monks in the middle, and yet he ended up going for town centers first. It's because he knew he had already done some damage. He's going to try and get away with those extra town centers a little bit earlier. And, well, certainly he has gotten away with it. And I don't see BacT pushing up this hill easily now.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point as well. This is elevated for Slam, so attack bonuses coming in every time BacT wants to push out. What I find interesting is actually Slam didn't build many crossbows at all. He basically upgraded his feudal age army and then left it at that. And then he's just built a couple of monks and converted the knights over to his side. So he's really invested very little into this aggression, I guess. I guess you could count the monks as being quite expensive, but since the bulk of his army, or not the bulk of it, but a good chunk of it is made up of his opponent's units right now, Slam's going to be feeling very happy with how things went earlier on. BacT moving down to the south with a TC on this gold to grab as much as he can. Just look at that bumping, look at that inefficiency, but he needs the gold, man. He really needs that gold, as BacT is really starting to lose a lot of ground on the front, and he needs to get some army out to deal with this. Actually, a counterattack coming in right now.
Yeah, did you see that villager go down? There's a villager underneath Slam's TC on the left. A dead villager, sorry. You'll see the corpse there. I don't think BacT expected Slam to have so many town centers. He sent these knights in. He's meeting cav archers now. He's doing a little bit of damage, but he did send a villager, who I assume was a sneak villager, into that town center, and at least now he knows what's up. But that counterattack, Zach, going to be just as inefficient as that initial attack in the middle. And look at that attack in the middle now. Slam pushing forward with Hun's towers. Very interesting choice to do this, but it's getting him a lot of map control, denying that gold and a lot of farms.
Oh yeah, the farms are just getting absolutely zoned out right now. This is really horrible for BacT, especially, you know, Slam knows, okay, BacT is going pretty heavy into the knights. Let's zone out the gold. Let's actually mess up his farming as much as possible. BacT, he's only just built a siege workshop, and you would think that a siege workshop might have been a little higher up on his priority list, knowing that the Slam did have the mangonels out in the center of the map here. So with the towers coming up, this is just going to assist Slam's push even more. And on the left side, BacT still looking for some counterattacks here. He did get like 5 or 6 villages, but at this stage, with Slam being much faster to add his second and third TC, I don't think it's really enough right now. And as you said, he's adding in the cavalry archers, which is so typical of the Huns as well. And yeah, I think in this position, Slam just has to not make any silly mistakes, and this game is his.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think he was thinking about that in the middle before he put up these extra town centers. He knew he had an advantage. He's using BacT's own knights to fight this, which is funny. These knights have come back on Slam's side, and he's going to win this. And BacT is probably going to have to run away with these villagers because the knights can take that tower down. But still, the damage is not being done. Slam sitting pretty back at home at the moment and seems to be able to predict what BacT is going to do 9 times out of 10. Still pushing on the front, Zach, but I don't think that's going to be the game-ending push, or, well, that's just the game.
That's the game-ending push.
Yeah.
It was kind of really tough for BacT in that position. After every time he ran his knights in, they just got converted. Slam just did like a nice 1-for-0 trade on the mangonels, and then 3 of his knights go down. Every single one of Slam's monks that game managed to convert a knight. And that is just amazing for Slam. Not a single monk conversion failure. BacT just felt like, I think, in this position, okay, what can I do now? I've already lost too much. I've already thrown too much into it. And after losing that kind of counterattack at Slam's base as well, I don't think that BacT had any army left. I think he had 1 knight and 2 monks. And he knows that Slam is transitioning into cavalry archers. He's in no position to defend from cavalry archer raiding. And he's also got really no defense to these 3 mangonels and this army from Slam, which is pushing in the front of the base.
Yeah, it was almost unconvincing from the start for BacT because the man-at-arms into the archers and skirms didn't really do too much. Slam defended beautifully this entire game, and because of that, his economy was well ahead at this point, and BacT knew it and called him the GG there, but what a good first game for the day.
Yeah, at the end, BacT had 63 villagers, and Slam had... Okay, it's going to make me do some math right now. All of these villagers added up.
Tell you, there was
it's going to be his villager
difference.
High.
Yeah, so Slam had 79, and BacT had 64. Keep in mind that BacT was probably idled more as well. He did have 4 villagers. He was running all over creation, trying to relocate wood lines. So in the end, just a much better performance for Slam.
Yeah, I think Slam was very much in control of that game, and I like that BacT tried to go forward. He recognized, okay, his map's not so good. If he goes forward, he can hopefully gain control of these gold piles in the center of the map later on. He can pressure Slam's gold on the left side and deny that. And he did do that for a while, but ultimately, the man-at-arms complete waste in the end because they didn't achieve anything. And with BacT making archers straight up and Slam countering with the skirms, he wasn't really able to do a whole lot with that in the feudal age either. So we'll take a quick look at the achievements, and I think maybe it's time to go to Nilpford, actually. We'll do that first. Over to Nelly.
Post-game analysis here. BacT against Slam. Game number 1. BacT went for forward aggression there with some villagers, which kind of failed a bit. And let's see how. Mainly, it was because his first aggression. Let's take a look at what he sees. He sees villagers running back, wood spots in the north, berries there as well. And yeah, he still decides to go for the forward, although he sees that the spots are very defensive. Then he builds a tower that you can see that one on the right hand side here. And yeah, what does he really attack? Not the wood, not that wood, not the berries, not the stone, not the gold. It's just the forward into kind of nowhere's land, blocking the farms a bit, but not 100% sure if that tower was too good. Let's take a look at why he decided to go offensively though, although he started quite a good defensive map here by Slam. It was mainly because of his own map. Let's take a look. Offensive berries, open gold, not easy to wall here either. But I think the main problem here for BacT was really that he didn't scout with his sheep. Look at that. We had 3 minutes into the game. He knows where his enemy is, and is still not using the sheep to scout. He didn't see, like, on the left-hand side, he had a reasonable wall. Look at that. Small wall here, and down here, and then he has a defensive gold wood, stone, everything perfected, perfectly to defend, and then he can play completely differently. But now he went into a very aggressive move onto a very bad map, and yeah, we had the ending fight here going with a lot of knights against a very well prepared army here by Slam, and couldn't really do much here. He had a lot of converts against him, and yeah, that was so unfortunate. Even Spearman's added 4 converts in that little fight. And I think the main problem was really, let's take another look at the Vietnamese and their TIF bonuses. Do you see anything about knights there? Not really. Vietnamese are an archer civilization, and BacT couldn't really get into a transition slam, but a lot of skirms countered him beautifully, and therefore, with no eco bonus for BacT and being behind, he had no chance there in Castle H. And now I'm excited to see game number 2.